All right, let's go. It's April 7th, and I got the heater back on in this room. This is baloney. Huh? It's 40 and rainy and yucky. Ugh. Can't go fishing. Panthers aren't winning. Panthers aren't even playing. Hey, Tkachuk and Marijuana tank for Toronto. oh. Oh, they tanking. They're tanking. There are so many different variations of what could happen, man. Kenny says yuck weather. Yeah, man. I guess it's the same for you guys there. This sucks. It was so nice last week. I was so ready to get out and go fishing. I gotta do the yard, the mow. The yard's ready to get mowed, and now it's just all. Ugh. Let me tell you, the longer Fluffy's not here, the less enamored I am with living here in Maryland. It's just the springs, man. Sometimes they don't come. They don't come in time. I'm ready for warmth and dry weather. Kachukin says this team at this point, I think, is just aiming to get 3 points to secure wild card one. Ottawa's going to pass us, I think. Kenneth says Toronto has a better chance of beating the Panthers round one than round two. Bring it on. Worst case, we get the Panthers round two and you'll pass. Yeah, Kenneth, I think the way I feel about it is if we can't beat Toronto, we wasn't beating Tampa yet in the first round. Just goalie alone. You've got Stolars and Wall is not really proven in the playoffs versus Andrei Vasilevsky, who's got like 8 cups and 14 Vezinas. So I take my chances against Stolars and Wall before I ask to play Vasilevsky. Just looking at it from that one position alone, it's like we have enough trouble scoring as it is. Panthers barely have any offense as it is. I hate to see what Vasilevsky would do to us. 1 goal in 4 games. So, and maybe, well, I was going to say maybe we'd get lucky and Ottawa would take care of Tampa. I don't know. There's no easy road, man. There's no easy road. Hey, Dietrich. Dietrich says not again. Remember that 3 goals in 4 games when Tampa took us out in the President's Trophy season. Meadow says it could be 2022 again, right? Good chucking. Yeah, there should be about 4 days between the last game and round one starting for us. So it's going to depend on who we play because Tampa plays on the 17th. So I think if we end up getting Tampa, our series might not even start till the 20th. Race fan says, after this week, my happiness has been ran over by a train. I'm happy. I'm okay. Spaceman, we want Dangle. That's a good point. It's a good point, Spaceman. I'm okay with what they're doing now. Let everybody sit. I think they said there's a chance Barkov might come back on Tuesday. Why? Go away. I don't want to see you. Seriously, I don't want to see any of these guys until the playoffs start. Just none of them. And let Schmidt get some. IDK says, not a fan going winless into the playoffs. I mean, we played the Sabres. We should be able to win that game, right? Silva says, hey, Jaws, I was listening to your podcast about the musings on the Marchand sitting. I don't think he needs a rest. Additionally, any rest he gets is outweighed by him needing to learn the system. Yeah, as long as he's not asking for one, sure. He doesn't look, obviously, he hasn't had 2 long playoff runs. So he looks like himself, I guess. Kachukin says, I think Toronto will win the division and we will get jumped by Ottawa unless a major issue happens with the Leafs roster. Well, we'll find out Wednesday in sense of if Tampa wants to win that division or not. Tampa wants to win the division or not. We'll find out Wednesday with the Leafs and Tampa playing each other. IDK says zero momentum is a dangerous game. I mean, I don't disagree, but at this point, health is more important. I think at this point, health is more important. I mean, you're not wrong, but I think the health is going to be the most important thing. Meadow says Marchand doesn't want to be here. He looks unmotivated. I just think he's here for the playoff run. He's here for the playoff run. Kenny says, I hope his Panthers are just still off. We can take first 2 games and we got a chance. Panthers will be back in playoff form by round 2. We need to go out in round 1. Yeah. Yeah, good point, Silva. How much did momentum help the 23-24 Bruins, right? IDK. Yeah, no, you're exactly right, IDK. We're in a no-win situation. But, I mean, we got here by getting 2 runs to the cup, right? You know? So, you know, it's such a weird season, man. It's such a weird feeling to be like they're losing, but it's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, especially considering how I started the channel where I would just blow my top with every loss. Oh, it's such a weird time. I wonder if they're going to give Bubba any extra rest too. Frank says, who cares at this point? Basically. And I guess they took that goal away from Samoskevich and gave it to Lundell. That screwed Trey over. I haven't heard from him this morning. He lost the whole point there, I think, because he had Samoskevich, and I guess they took that and made it Lundell's goal. He must have deflected it in front. What do you guys think of Puljujarvi and Asplund? Kyle says they sound like AI-generated names. Fly Guy, yeah, I talked about that in the podcast about Paul saying Megna was now on his radar. I think, my opinion, when Ekblad, those first 2 playoff games, with Kulikov back and Ekblad not in, what do you guys think about putting Megna in over Balinskis? He was watching the Minecraft movies, so we'll never see the game. Rays fan, at least we have the cup. Yep. Yeah, Megna's a big dude. Kenny says, I don't want to hope the Panthers aren't ready for the playoffs, but I just want to win one. I know. I get it, man. I totally get it. There's only so many chances that roster is going to get. What's the general feeling, Kenneth? What's the general feeling with the goalie situation? Like, who does the fan base think can get on a hot streak and actually win a cup with these guys? I was kind of surprised that Toronto, I mean, they're rolling the dice with these 2 guys. It's not like they're bad, but Fly Guy says he's old so he can't screw around. Yeah, he's solid. He's just solid, right? Metal says completely invisible, blessing and a curse. Can't generate jack offensively, but not screwing up defensively. Right. Stolar is as much preferred, Kenneth. I mean, I suppose you guys would love to beat us with our old goalie, right? I mean, that would have to that would have to, you know. Oh, geez. Silva says, I want to win another cup. I broke up with my girlfriend 2 days before Game 7. Almost ruined the experience for me. Yeah, I got you there. I understand that. You know, that whole situation was a blur for me, man. I wasn't getting but maybe 2 hours of sleep at night by that point with Fluffy. He was up all night. It was just, The whole thing is just a blur. Chuckin says, I think Stoley will play well round one. I'm sure, yeah. Good point from Joe. He says Vegas fell to the wild card and then lost in the first round last year. Well, we certainly are not going to have the optimal first round opponent. That's for certain, right? Like Kyle said yesterday, we don't have Boston to beat up on anymore. So, just honestly. Now, I was also looking at, Ottawa could not just leapfrog us. But if they really get on a hot streak here at the end of the season, they're not. It's not out of the question that Ottawa could get second place. They're only 4 points out of Tampa, and I believe those two play each other. I was talking about on the podcast. Let me make sure here. Do the Lightning play the Senators? No, they don't. No, they don't. So I was wrong there. But, they're 4 points out, but Lightning have a game in hand, so probably not. Now I'm looking at it. Lightning have a game in hand, so I think I don't know, Ottawa. Only way Ottawa catches them if the Lightning do what we're doing, which is just start sitting people. Exactly, Kenneth. Florida, Tampa, Ottawa, Toronto. Every team needs to beat two of those teams. Exactly. And then if they beat those two teams, they got to beat the Capitals, right? So, like, if you're Tampa, you got to beat Florida, and then you got to beat Ottawa or Toronto, and then you got to beat the Capitals. Dietrich says our roster is 25% AHL. It's all the rules. Joe says, I'm okay falling to wild card one, just don't want the Caps, right? You keep lying to yourself, Dietrich. Rays fan says the Panthers are 0-4 since your breakup. Hey, Vincent. Vincent says, hey, I don't like Maurice, the coach, but he finally made a decision that I respect. We're going to the playoffs now. Sit more guys. I hope he doesn't bring Barkov back. Why would we even play Barkov? Let them all sit. Hopefully, Chucky starts practicing this week. That's what we need to see. Metal says, what will upset me is we lose a series because we still couldn't score goals. Paul will be totally happy with it because they played the right way and BS like that. Lewis says, there's no team in the East who really scares me. Bring them on. I would agree with that. I would agree. There's no team that we're looking at going, we can't possibly beat them in a 7-game series. But there are a lot of teams that I could see could possibly beat us. It's going to be our offense. I think we know the defense is going to be fine, and we know Bob's going to be fine. But we got to be able to score goals on our limited opportunities. I've not seen an entire collection of guys, just the whole team just can't score. It's just incredible. Fly Guy says, I think Chuck is done for the year. I hope not. But I have a feeling it's not going to be till round 2. I have a feeling that the way that they're looking at it, I could be wrong, but if we can't win our first round without Chucky, we wasn't winning a cup anyway. And maybe they're thinking giving him the first round off. We get to round 2, then we're actually legitimately hunting down a repeat, and then you throw him back out there and see what he's got. Fly says, between the Shattered sternum and the torn groin, you don't think he'll be the same? Oh, you think done? I think he'll be fine. I mean, at some point, he's going to need like a full off season, like a normal full off season, right? Because I mean, we saw it last year, the first half of the year. He shouldn't have been out there. Maybe not the whole first half, but Chucky should have at very least been out the same length of time as Ekblad and Montour. He wasn't ready to play. You think we got to sit Bob as well, Tkachuk? And I don't know if they're going to do it, though. And I'd like to see him sit, but there's already going to be those 4 or 5 days in between the last game and the first round. You don't want him sitting too long, right? Just scrolling down to the bottom. I get you, Fly. Right. I think it depends on who we play, Dietrich. And IDK. I think we can beat Toronto without Chucky. We got Marchand. Marchand is Toronto kryptonite. I think we can beat Toronto without Chucky. Not Tampa and certainly not Ottawa. I feel like the difference in the goaltending and with Marchand, I feel like we could beat Toronto without Chucky. But that's it. That's as far as we go without Chucky. Vincent says it looks like Toronto's first game would be on a Monday. If they play the Panthers, we get almost a week of rest and recovery time. Yeah. Which would be nice. I know we dressed Tkachuk with a broken sternum. I know. I don't understand it either, man. And like exactly, Meadow. If we lose without Chucky, we weren't winning with him. Right. Hey, Marlboro. Hey, bud. So I would still like to see Chucky start practicing, though. If we don't see him practicing this week, out there, normal practice, able to just skate, not even skate hard, just like skate and turn and start doing some normal things. If we don't see that this week, I know he was on the ice, what Maurice called him, touching pucks. I want to see him like be able to like push it a little bit. If we don't see that this week, he's not playing game one, that's for sure. And then my assumption would be if he's not playing game one of the series, I don't think that they would even worry about bringing him back until we got into trouble in a series. And even then, I mean, if he's still not sure if he can skate right now, how can he? He's not going to play playoff hockey in 2 weeks. Metal says, like the streamer, Paul sits Samo in the playoffs. You can't sit Samoskevich. He's on every line. I don't think the kid comes off the ice. I don't know what his time on ice is. I know it's not all that much. I know I'm exaggerating. But I guess it's just because he stands out whenever he's on the ice because he's one of the only guys with legs on the team. It just seems like he's always out there. Or maybe it's because like when 80% of the times when we're like really paying attention because something's happening, Samoskevich is out there. Kachukin says Samo was a panini last night. He's not injured, right? Hey, JC. Lewis says, I heard Bob Caps games at Caps game at 55, so after that would be Vanacek for the rest of the season. Yeah. Joe says, even with the checkers on the ice last night, Mackey is still the only offense. Especially with everybody else out. I'm thinking next year 25 goals for him. He's got 15 now or 14 because they took the one away. He'll end up with 15. If he can get 15 now, I think 25 next year is not unreachable for him. JC, all we've heard on Kulikov is the last thing that Maurice said, which he could come back this week. I mean, all I really care about with him is if he wants to play the last game for conditioning. Fly says he's supposed to be back. Yeah, talking about Kulikov. Yeah, he might come back this week. And what do we got this week? Yeah, the Four Nations was not great for us. There's no way around it, man. We got Toronto tomorrow, the Wings on Thursday, and then after that, the game against the Wings on Thursday might be the last time we're playing a team that really needs points. So after that, we got the Sabres, the Rangers. They're probably going to be done by then. And then that game, our last game is against the Lightning. And if the Lightning lose to the Leafs on Wednesday, the division is over. It won't be clinched, but at that point, the Leafs would have a 6-point lead. So that would be over. So, you might be in a situation where the Lightning need points there, maybe to stave off Ottawa. It's more likely they would need points to stave off Ottawa than us. Dietrich said, you see the biz that put on a tinfoil hat on TV and say the Panthers are throwing. Kyle told me his theory, and I absolutely agree with it. I absolutely 100% agree with it. And I'm sure that they would not mind that. They'd have to be stupid. The Panthers right now, anybody really, so Ottawa, have at it. You'd have to be stupid to rather play Tampa and Vasilevsky than Stolarz and the Leafs right now. You'd have to be dumb as a box of rocks to prefer Tampa Bay and Vasilevsky at this point. They're rested, they're healthy, they're motivated. So I have no questions that right now the Panthers are like, we can get some guys some rest. We can maybe avoid Tampa. I don't think they're losing, quote, on purpose, but I have no question that could be happening. Kenneth says Austrian round 2 with Kov Tavares eliminates the Panthers for the playoffs. Giles will have PTSD for 2 weeks. Oh my God, that can't happen, Kenneth. That cannot happen. If Tavares eliminates the Panthers from the playoffs, I quit hockey and I'm going to start a political podcast. That's how bad shit crazy. That's how broken that would make me. That would break me. That would absolutely break me. No, I just can't even. Vincent says Bennett doesn't play on Tuesday. Forsling might sit out more games. Barkov might be back during this week. Sturm and Kulikov should get back this week. I don't know why they'd throw Bennett out there at all. Like, if anybody needs the extra time to heal up and rest anything, it would be Bennett. I mean, I'm just guessing. Let Bennett sit. Let them all just sit. Go sit in the hot tub for 2 weeks. Boulevard says, I'm going to be honest, the Panthers are going to lose out. Here, the Sabres are always great at the end of the season for some odd reason, and the Rangers like to ruin things. I know. Tampa just lost to Buffalo. Tank for the 7 slot. Fly says, I'd like the less travel. Yeah. Good point, Joe. He'd like to see Dangle's reaction to us playing Marchand in round 1. Yeah, that's the flip side of that, Kenneth. What if Marchand eliminates the Leafs? It says Boxer Hawks might be generous. Dietrich, more? Wait. That's what we did the other day. We didn't call up 3 more, did we? Metal says some guys have to come in periodically for a game or 2 so they aren't too rusty. Right. I get it. I mean, there's 5 games left. You let Barkov play 2, Bennett play 2, Reinhart go away. I still would like to give Samoskevich a night off. I wouldn't mind letting Samoskevich sit for a night or 2. If he could get fresher legs, that's going to be a benefit to us. I know he's not a vet that's played a bunch of games these last 2 years, right? But couldn't hurt to get his legs freshened up a little bit. Especially those first 2 games we're going to be missing Ekblad. One goal could be the difference. And that's what are we going to do about Verhaeghe? Is Samoskevich going to pass Verhaeghe? Craig says, let Sammy sit versus Tampa Bay. Yeah, I agree there. Is Samoskevich going to pass Verhaeghe? Let's see. I think Samo's at 14 because they took that one away, right? Verhaeghe's got 17 goals, and Samoskevich has 14 because they took away the one last night. I think if they would have left that one, they gave it to Lundell. I guess he deflected the puck. He legitimately, if he had a game where a couple of goals. Marchand, Kenneth says if Marchand doesn't hit the end of Stolar's stick and it actually goes in, you get to acquire Tavares. Right. Yeah. That would be something else, man. Ethan says, I swear Verhaeghe only scores when his hair is sticking out the top of his helmet. Tkachuk says, if Samo passes Swaggy, we built ourselves a new cap problem. We're going to have to give Samoskevich some money. And no doubt about that. Now, this is not something I want to happen, but in order to pay Samoskevich, depending on how everything else goes, we might have to move Erod and just give Sordiff that spot. I mean, I like Rodriguez, but he's not getting any younger. And, you got to make if you have to clear a couple of bucks off, depending on what happens with Bennett and Ekblad, right? Because of Jones now, right? I mean, Jones's contract is like we re-signed. Jones's contract is like we extended Ekblad. Not necessarily the same quality of player, but cap-wise, it's basically like we extended Ekblad already, money-wise. So once you get to where if you're giving Bennett 7, if that happens, Ekblad's just going to have to take like 50 cents because Samoskevich he's going to get some money. Busy says wins against Red Wings and Buffalo will be enough, right? The thing with Swaggy, though, Fly Guy, is he's got a no-move clause. Good question, Ethan. What do I think Ekblad's going to ask for and what he's going to get on his next contract? It is such a wild disparity in what could happen. If he wants to stay a Panther and retire a Panther, I honestly don't think that they acquired Jones and plan on paying him $7 million to play on the second pair. I really don't. The way I'm watching Jones play right now, if Ekblad wants to get paid somewhere, somebody's at least going to pay him $7 or $8 million elsewhere. Somebody elsewhere will at least give him $7 or $8 million. I don't know about the term because of his injuries, but if he wants to stay with us, it's probably going to have to be like in the $4 million range, and that might be pushing it. It's really just going to depend on what he wants to do for the rest of his career. Remember, he's been making 7.5 all these years, so he was making good money. It's not like this contract is his only chance at making money. He's made some money already, so that might come into play with him. Metal says, I don't get why Paul can't figure out a way where we can play the defense he wants and also score some goals. Makes no sense. We don't have the defensive personnel. We don't have the same type with Montour and OEL that can push offensive play and then the forwards come back and cover. But those defensemen stay in the zone. We just don't have the same type of personnel. And the forwards are not as energetic right now because they're wiped out from all the, from all the runs, all the games they've played. So you got a combination of the defensemen aren't as talented and the forwards are just not, back checking as heavy as they need to be. And that's what's happening. Vincent says, oh, Jones fully transformed to Ekblad last game. That's true. That's true. Dietrich, 7. Oh, well, if he goes somewhere else, Dietrich, he's going to get paid somewhere. Tkachuk says 5x5. Bolvar says it wouldn't surprise me if a sneaky little team like Columbus signs Ekblad, right? Metal says dude is worth like 4. Craig says 4x6. Tkachuk says Lucy playing defense and Mikula playing offense. Exactly. Kenneth says Olaf Kolzig played in the 80s, played for the Capitals all but 8 games in his career, and Ovi still scored on him. Good stat. Seth Blad. I like that, TK. Seth Blad. Yeah. Comment says happy if he accepts 4 to 6 million. Also understand if he wants 7+. If he gets 8, then it's not worth it. Right. Craig says Ekblad's wife should make okay money, and when he retires, becomes parts of the Panther organization. I honestly would like to see him stay, but he's got to get paid like a second pairing defenseman. He has to get paid like a normal second pairing defenseman. And it just depends on. I mean, it all rolls downhill, right? Bennett, Ekblad. Samoskevich is not going to be, it's not going to be a huge contract, but in the last couple of seasons, like $1 million here, $1 million there, we've lost guys because of that. That can't happen with Samoskevich. And you've seen what he did with Spencer Knight. He paid him. I don't think Sam was going to get 4, but they gave Lundell 1.5 on his second deal. I would suspect Sam will probably get like 2.25. Metal says, yeah, Mikula has been one of the best players for us this year, and he makes $2.5 million total steal. Yep. Ekblad's wife becomes the team doctor. Not after what she did you run it by your wife, Ekblad? You notice how he said he didn't run it by the team doctors or anything. Did you run it by your wife, Eki? Hey, Colin. You think Toronto will overpay for him just to do? Yeah, I know. Look what they gave OEL, right? Ethan says, like, he's decent, but he's injury prone, and I can't see that getting better with age. Then I don't know what I'd be happy with him. 6x4. 6. Yeah, that sounds about like a good compromise, Ethan, honestly. Like, that might be a little bit long in the term, but a little bit cheap on the price. So that might actually work, right? Because then after 3 or 4 years, if you have to buy them out, it's not all that bad. I know. Did you see what Chychrun got? That's why I think Ekblad could get 7 somewhere else, or maybe even 8. I mean, Chychrun got he's looking good too. KRG says, do you think with Ekblad's suspension, his value goes down? I know he'll be looking long-term, but with his injury issues and suspension, I don't think he has too much leverage. But we're missing him on D. Yeah, exactly. Everything you say, I agree with. What's interesting, though, is initially we all thought his suspension lowered his value. But since he's been gone, right? that might have raised his value. It might have shown his value to the team. But we already got Jones. So there's no take seed backsies. You're not going to let Bennett walk to give Ekblad $7 million. So you could see a situation where we might have to bring up an AHL guy, at least Sordev, and move a guy like Rodriguez to clear out a couple of $1 million. And then don't forget, we got to get a backup goalie, right? That's a whole nother consideration there. We have to get a backup goalie. And we don't have a 4C, right? Because we moved Giles. So it's not like we could even say, well, let's just move Giles up. Remember, we traded him too. TK says Ekblad was probably the main supplier for the team. No wonder they're dropping off. Vincent, no matter what, good summer for the Panthers. Should have trades and new signings of solid players to stabilize the team. Ekblad is not a priority compared to all the options Zito might see. Joe says, can Toronto not take all our players? They can't have Bennett. What was I think Forsling? I don't even know if Forsling got 6. Colin. I mean, I don't even know if Forsling got 6. I remember we were like wondering what the hell he was going to get. Yeah, 5.75. He got 8-year, $46 million. So our number, he got 5.75. That's crazy cheap for what he does. Crazy cheap. Of all the contracts Zito has gotten us, that one, I mean, damn. How do you look? This is what I want to know. This is honestly what I want to know. Like, how do you sit down across from Gustav Forsling and tell him you're not quite worth $6 million? How do you do that with a straight face? That's what I need to know. That I have to know how he did that. Hey, look, I can't, I mean, good God. Yeah, exactly, Tkachuk. Yeah, Dietrich, your family. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm sure he wanted to stay calm. He is. Yeah, I'm sure about that. He obviously did, right? Because can you imagine what Forsling would have gotten on the open market? Let's put it, if Chychrun gets 9, what would Forsling get on the open market? Vincent says, Zito said, I made you who you are. Gustav, don't push me, right? TK says, Zito gives him timeshare options. Communist says 7+ easy, right? Ethan says, well, it's his laser eyes would make anyone crumble. He told him he could have some Ekblad's medicine if he took a discount. Good one, Joe. Tkachuk, did your account get hacked? What? We have a superstar. His name was Forsling. Yeah, good point, Craig. Shows again the steal Mikla was. Yeah. JC says Ekblad is worth $3 million. The PEDs are worth $2 million. Oh man, that's not even. No, there's no way, Tkachuk. It never going to happen. Did he give Forsling a no move clause? I would assume he did, right? I would assume that. Where is? Let me see. How come I'm not getting? How come Puck Pete is not coming up? Does anybody know if he got a no move clause or not? No, Tkachuk, and you got to remember, Swaggy's got a no move clause. He's not going anywhere. It would take another full season of Swaggy's performance being this way. Thank you, Tkachuk. Yeah, okay, thank you. So it would take another full season of Swaggy being this snake bit before the team would even think about moving him. That's my belief. He's had it. The thing is it's not like he's playing bad. Like he's getting chances. It's not like he's slacking off defensively or anything else. It's just whenever the puck touches his stick, it starts raining. The arena explodes into a ball of fire. I mean, it's just never seen anything like it. It just won't go in no matter what. Exactly. Ethan says, what if he's on fire in the playoffs? DJ Carter has 17 goals, Forsling 10, right? Yeah. He's actually not able to shoot the puck. Metal says minus 28. Says something about his defense. He's on the ice against the best players, though. That's the thing. And I'm not sure his plus minus was ever even anything spectacular. But when you're in the top 6 and you're not getting points, it's not like he's an assist merchant. He's got 48 points. And he's a minus 19, right? So I'm looking at so last year he had 72 points, was a plus 17. The year before he had 73 points and was a plus 10. So that's 24 points less than last year and a difference in 36 in the plus minus. So if he had his normal points right now, he'd be about a plus 10. The point there is that, nothing has changed in terms of his defense. It doesn't matter, Tkachuk, and whether the NHL doesn't allow you to front load stuff like football does. So you could give them $100 million this year and only $1 million in the rest of the next years. The cap hit is going to be the average of all the years. It's not like football where you get to front load stuff. Momo says if Florida sends past them, that's pathetic. Disagree. If Ottawa wants to pass us and go play Tampa, let them have them. Go ahead. You go play Vasilevsky and the rested Lightning in the first round. Have fun with that. Tkachuk says, I'm talking about Bob. He might retire early if he only had a few million left to be paid. I see what you're saying. But I'm not so sure. I know the way it's counted against the cap. I don't think the NHL lets you do it, though. I don't, because I've not seen anybody get a front loaded contract like that. Craig, tank. Well, says it would be pathetic, but if it gets us another cup, who cares? I mean, in our current state, especially, well, like Joe was saying, it's smart if we end up playing the Leafs. If the Lightning win the division, on the other hand, right? Yeah, they're all front loaded. Tkachuk. I don't know what the benefit of doing that is because they don't count it. They don't count it any different against the cap. So I'm not sure what the benefit of doing that would be. Are you talking about signing bonuses, though? Is that, I mean, if you're talking about signing bonuses, yeah, giving them a huge signing bonus, right. And then spread the rest of the money out. Right. I get what you're saying there. I mean, that's a benefit for the player, though, right? For the team, it's inconsequential. For the owner, he got to come up with money, but it's all the same in terms of what the cap is and everything. Because it gives them more money up front. And it does have an implication on the end of the contract. But I'm not understanding. I mean, it has an implication. So somebody, give me an example of a player you're talking about, and I'll look at their contract. Give me an example of a player that you're talking about, and maybe if I'm looking at it, I can understand what the benefit would be. Momo says Leafs tried that tank thinking Florida was easy last night. Oh, Momo, it's not that we think Toronto's easy. It's just, would you rather play Vasilevsky or Stolarz in the first round? I mean, for me, that's all really, I mean, you know, and Vasilevsky already has history against the Panthers in the playoffs. Yeah, we've beaten them, but Tampa's a different team right now. All right. So you're saying first year Bob had like 12 million total. Next year it's only, all right. So let me see. Let me see what. So I guess what you guys are saying is it has a difference like in the buyout. If you wanted to buy a guy out. Here we go. Right. So his cap hit, it shows the cap hit is the same, but I'm just looking at Tkachuk says, all I'm saying is if Bob was only getting 1 to 3 million, he might retire and leave the money rather than keep playing. Okay. Which you don't want. Right. Yeah, I mean, if they give the here, let me see cash breakdown. Okay. So this here's what, so it goes to the cash breakdown. So the first year his base salary was $4 million, and then he got 7.5 signing bonus. So his cash was 11.5 the first year, then 12, 10 last year, 65 this year, and 6 million this year. Huh. So yeah, I guess what that does is it gives the players their money up front, just in case, especially as they're aging. I guess in case they want to retire, they've made most of their money, right? Momo says you also never played Stolarz. You might want to go. I mean, they played against them every day in practice, though, right? And it wasn't that we let him go. He wanted a chance to be the starter. Momo, Stolarz just wanted a chance to be the starter somewhere. He's incredibly grateful to the Panthers. It was look at his numbers before he was with us and after he was with us. It was our coaches that turned his career around. Our system got him that money. I'm not saying Stolarz would let us win, but we if anybody knows Stolarz's tendencies, it would be us. Fosh said, I don't think we'll win another game. We'll win one. We'll win a game. We are not winning Tuesday, right? Because Toronto wants the division for whatever reason. Chunky Kong says, why does this year feel so different compared to the last 2 years of us going into the playoffs? Well, let's see. The 1 year we were scratching and clawing for points, right? We were like 10 points out in January. Then last year, the guys were just so motivated to come back and win the cup. They were just all laser focused on that. And it was a different vibe. But like I've said before, no team since the 80s Oilers have made it to three straight Stanley Cup finals with 82 game seasons. And you look at it all, and it's just there's just only so long you can play at that level before, like what Joe is saying, gas, cup tax, injuries, extra Four Nations. Yeah, the Four Nations too. Like Maurice says, he says Reinhardt's on pace for an 86 game season, for playing 86 games on an 82 game season, right? Yeah, it does all add up. Sherry, Tkachuk, we don't know. We don't know. But their hope is first round, but we don't know. He's not fully practicing yet. Kulikov will be back this week. Barkov could be back this week. Bennett and Reinhardt, they could play, but they're just basically getting rest and getting healed up. Same thing with Forsling. So it's not really, if it was game one of the playoffs, we could play, but they're just trying to get guys as healthy and rested as they can before the playoffs start so that, we have some kind of an opportunity to repeat or at least, not get slumped out in the first round, which I think what was fixing to happen if we can't get guys rested. Occam's Razor says that I could see us beating Toronto Tuesday. That would be a very Toronto thing. If Toronto loses to us on Tuesday, yeah, there's no excuse for Toronto to lose to us on Tuesday with a half an AHL roster out there. Tkachuk says, let's assume we lose in 5 in round 1. What changes am I making July 1st? Well, if we've already re-signed Bennett, honestly, I'm looking at what's Ekblad going to take versus what kind of replacements are out there. Is there a young guy out there that we could use to replace him? Right? You got to get a backup goalie. I don't think Vanacek is going to be the guy. I don't think so anyway. And you sign in Samoskevich. I think you might see some movement of a guy like Rodriguez because you got to make room for Sordif. He's going to be plenty ready. And then you got to rebuild the fourth line again. You at least need a 4C. And then and you've signed Boquist to that deal, which is looking worse and worse and worse. Unless you're going to pay him to be on the fourth line. But it's kind of disappointing that we lost Lomberg over $1 million, and now we're going to give Boquist $1.5 million. It's nice of a player Boquist is. Losing Lomberg over $1 million and then signing Boquist to 1.5 is definitely not my favorite thing that we've done. Sherry says Toronto wants Ottawa in the first round. I mean, yeah, they might not have a choice. Right? They might not have a choice because we would probably prefer to have Toronto. And I don't think Toronto's going to mess around with the division. They're going to win the division. And I wonder who Ottawa would rather play. That's another question. Who would Ottawa rather play? Ethan says, do I think Lundell will ever want to move somewhere for a bigger role as long as Barkov and Bennett are here? He's pretty much looked in at 3C. He got paid, though. What? I didn't even know if he has a no-move clause or not. Let's look. We just signed him last summer. So he got a 6-year, $5 million contract. There's no move clause as far as I can see here. And he's signed until he's 29. So he's got another contract in him. But by the time he starts getting to where he's 26, 27, that might be, remember, he's only 23. I mean, we forget how young he is. He's only 23 right now. So by the time you're talking about, 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, he's going to be 26, 27 years old. He's going to have one of those jobs. At some point, Barkov and Bennett, probably Bennett, would move down and Lundell will be at 2C. I don't think it's going to happen just yet. But within 3 or 4 years, I would think you would probably see Bennett move down and Lundell move up. Hey, Trey, how you doing, Trey? How'd you do in your game last night, Trey? Tkachuk says, do I even bother trying to re-sign Eki or try to get 2 better bottom pair D? It's all about how much money he wants. It really is. Yeah, if Toronto wins tomorrow, Tampa has less of a chance to catch them, and Ottawa has a better chance to catch us. So we draw Toronto. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Fly Guy, you think they're going to sign Sturm? So Frosty, would I rest Bob on Tuesday? I would rest him, but I don't know about Tuesday. Maybe play him against the Leafs and then give Vanacek a couple of games. Yeah, Lundy has no trade protection. Yeah. Sherry says, Ottawa wants Toronto. We have their number. Toronto commentators say they don't want you guys or Tampa. Well, the only way that's going to happen is if we don't let Ottawa pass us. If the Sens pass us. Hey, good job, Trey. This week is the championship. Good job. Kenneth says, I hope Vegas puts out a post that putting Chucky on LTIR was cheating, right? Oh, boy. Metal says, what do I think our record will be this next season if we win the Cup versus if we don't? If we have another long run and we win the Cup this year, we won't even make the playoffs next year. That might be a bit hyperbolic, but you could expect, you think these guys are gassed now. If they actually did it, for sake of argument, if they actually did repeat, I mean, next year, you would just have to be like giving guys whole months off just for rest. And if we don't, I guess it just depends on what changes they plan on making. And what's Tkachuk's real situation with his groin, too. Sherry says we should try to get Mitch this summer. We just don't have the money. Not after getting Jones. We might have been able to have that conversation, but we can't trade for Hagee because he's got a no move clause. And after we sign Jones, we just don't have the money. We'd have to move somebody, and everybody's got trade protection at this point. Kenneth says, repeat Cup, Bob retires, Panthers play season with an empty net. That's about right. That's about right. Little J says, I just don't see the Leafs losing in the first round again. See, that's the way I feel about the Lightning. That's how I feel about the Lightning. Like Tampa's rock, they're ready to go, man. They're ready to go. So, Tampa is what we would be. Basically, obviously they won 2 cups. But if we went on a short run this year and a short run next year and guys were rested and healthy and reloaded and Bobrovsky was younger again, Tampa is dangerous. There's no doubt. Fly Guy says, I think big names are going to try to be traded in or out to take teams right. Hey, boss says, taking my friend to his first Panthers game on Tuesday. He'll never become a fan with the way the Panthers are playing now. Yeah, it's probably the worst possible time to bring someone to their first Panthers game. Almost as surely the worst possible, like in the whole franchise's history, because you've got a mix of AHL kids and a bunch of veterans out there that are quite literally just going to be playing out the string. Unfortunate timing. Tkachuk says the Leafs have cap space around Marner and cash since Tavares is definitely not getting $11 million, but they don't have the goaltending to actually go all the way. Yeah, we have the checkers on the ice. Yeah, exactly. Ethan says, if I could choose to bring back any player from recent memory, who would I pick? Stenlin. That's easy answer. Stenlin. Don't even have to think about that one. That is one dude we have not replaced. Trey says Gudis. Marchment. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Marchment. Lomberg's the second there, Fly, for me anyway. But just going by what this team needs, having Stenlin at 4C was a benefit. Metal says Fela. Cousins. Fly says what he does for a team cannot be measured on the ice. Not Montour, no. I mean, not at that contract. Not at that contract. That's a tough one. I didn't think about Montour. Yeah, Lomberg is the ultimate Panther. I didn't think about Montour. That's a good question. But we wouldn't. Let's put it this way: if we had re-signed Montour, we wouldn't have Jones. Good question. Trey says Yager. We already got Yager out there. We got Marchand out there. They move about the same speed. I'm kidding. Ethan says I was torn between Montour and Stenlin. Yeah, Eric Stahl. Yeah, we made fun of it when it first happened, right? He was solid for us. He was definitely solid for us. Coop. Yeah, you'd pay extra to get Lamy back. That's the thing about, like I said earlier, about Boquist. It's like, no disrespect to Boquist, but damn it. It's not Lomberg. What are you giving him Lomberg's money for? Why are you giving him Lomberg's money? That, of all the guys, that's the one, though, that just that little bit of extra juice. Oh, there goes Trey with Spencer. Now, come on. Hey, at least Spencer didn't let Ovi get the game-winning, the record-breaking goal. Ovi was trying. Spencer had to make one really, really nice save there, at least. Kenneth says, no Tippett. This channel has changed. Sam Miskevich has made me forget all about Owen Tippett. He's made me forget all about Owen Tippett. No doubt. Right? Would I rather have Schmidt or Mark Stahl? Is there any difference? Trey. Oh my God, Trey. Jesus. Who dat? Right. Yeah. That's a good question, Shafasi. Would I rather have Schmidt or Mark Stahl? Man, maybe Schmidt by like just a eensy weensy little bit because he's a ball guy. Maybe. Good comparison. Sherry says, what top team do you think will be out in the first round, upset by whom? I keep cracking the joke that the Canadians are going to beat the Capitals. So I'm just going to stick with that. There's no hockey sense behind that, I admit. But that's my joke, and I'm sticking to it. That the Canadians are going to get that 8 seed and beat the Capitals. There is a small concern in Washington, well, for me anyway, that with all the energy expended with the Ovechkin thing, that now they kind of have to come down from that and then get back up for the playoffs. They may not be completely perfect those first couple of games, and Montreal is just going to be flying around like maniacs. It's going to be up to Montebello. Can Monty hold out? Can he hold up? Ethan says, not if we take the 8th seed. You were thinking the same thing? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Montreal do that, as long as they don't have to play the Panthers. I want nothing to do with them. Can you imagine that if we had to play the Canadiens in Eastern Conference Finals? Now, that's a goalie that was ours that I don't want to play. We used to just light him up every time. And now, whatever reason, well, we can't score on anybody though right now. Jeez. I'm pretty sure I could go in the net right now and they wouldn't score on us. And they wouldn't score on me. Hey, thank you, Coop. Thank you, Heather. Much, much, much appreciated. Yeah, same as you Sens fans. Yeah, it's going to be wild, man, this last week. Because, like I said, that last game, Florida, Tampa, it could genuinely be a situation where both teams would be better off losing. Then how do you play that game? Like, I know us, Maurice would be like stupid and be like, well, we're trying to win. So, like, that's what I'll say. If it comes down to Florida, Tampa, in that last game, I trust Cooper to be like, no, really, we tried. We tried to win the game, but I guess we lost. And so now, we don't have to, we don't have to play Ottawa. We don't have, but Maurice will just be like a square and be like, we're trying to win, and we'll end up beating Tampa, and that'll keep us in third place instead of getting the wild card and do stupid things and try to play Tampa instead. Chavashi says I would have a 920 save percentage against us. Yeah, as long as they don't go high, we're good. Right? So pull the goalies and play 6-on-6. Frosty, I think the Sens are going to pass us. I really do. Which is fine. That's fine. Now you follow that to the second round. If it worked out that way, if we beat Toronto, then now we're playing the winner of Tampa and Ottawa. I know. That's the point I was just getting to, Lil J, is about the travel. That part, no disagreement. No disagreement there. But that works both ways. It's easier for Tampa too, right? I just kind of feel like Vasilevsky is going to be locked in. And I would rather Tampa play a young, up-and-coming, energetic team like Ottawa. I still think Tampa would win. And then we got to play Tampa in the second round anyway. Right? There's no way out of that travel. On the road to the Cup, there's no way out of that travel. Because we're either playing Toronto, we're playing two of Toronto, Tampa, and Ottawa. So there's no way out of the Canadian travel. There's no way out of it. There's zero way out of the Canadian travel. Now that I think about it that way, Lil J, no matter what, we're taking those trips. So we could do it in the first round. We might do it in the second round. We might do it both times. So from that perspective, I can understand there'd still be the advantage of playing Tampa on the short bus ride. But Vasilevsky, Stolars, that's where I'm at. Sherry says, if you guys get your injured players back, I don't want our team playing yours. It's about Tkachuk. My concern is if we get Ottawa, and that's when Tkachuk comes back from his groin injury, he's going to be out in 5 minutes. Because if there's anything we know that Chucky's going to do, is he's going to do stupid shit because he's going to get all jacked up to play the game against his brother. So he's going to have just kind of healed from the groin injury, get out there, want to show Brady that he's better and do something stupid, re-injure the groin, and that's that. I don't trust Tkachuk to do smart things. When he gets them, I mean, that's how he got hurt, right? That's how he got hurt in the Four Nations. Trey says, oh, great. So next year we'll all have to deal with a Brady Tkachuk that lost the Game 7. Mike says, I've been a Cavs fan since the late 70s, and they have not so great history in the playoffs. I'm not feeling comfortable with the way they're playing. Yeah, Caps took a while. I mean, they won their cup, but I remember it was year after year after year. They were like, is Ovi ever going to get one? Fly says, if you shut down Cooch and Gensel, we're good. Yeah, but our history against Cooch is not pleasant. It's not pleasant. Ethan says, who would I rather play round one, Toronto or Washington? There's a selfish part of me that wants to say Washington because then I could go to a game. We could go to a game. But in a hockey sense, that's a good question. I mean, I know Washington looks on paper like they're a monster right now. And I just can't imagine our PK against Ovechkin. But yeah, I don't like, man, maybe Toronto. And that's a good thing. Tkachuk says, if you shut down Tampa scoring, you still have to face Vasi. Trey says, shut down Cooch. That's funny. Yeah, let's run back. Yeah, there's no easy way. There's no easy way, right? It's just look at it this way. We're sitting here pondering if we can make the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row. I mean, that's a long way from getting swept by Tampa, right? We got swept by Tampa, and now here we are 3 years later saying, I'm not sure if I want to play Tampa because that's going to harm our chances of making 3 finals in a row. What a difference. Are the Oilers getting out in the first round, Tkachuk? I think the Kings might finally do it. How many times can the same team lose to the same team, Buffalo? You know what I mean? Suffering from success. Exactly, right? Good point there I mean, there's some teams, right? I mean, Dallas, Tampa, Colorado. I mean, look at the number of former champions in these playoffs. There's some teams that know how to, and then Shafashi's talking about the Blues, right? And who are they going to play? Who are the Blues going to play? Let me look at that real quick. So the Blues, it's not official who they're going to play yet, obviously, because they're still fighting with Minnesota. I don't think they're going to catch the Avalanche. I don't think unless they win completely out. Did the Blues and Avalanche play? No. Oh, they just did the other day, and the Blues beat them. So that's about as close as they're going to get. So Blues are going to be probably, don't know. So they're either going to get the Jets or the Knights, right? Boy, wouldn't that? If I were, boy, that's a tough one. Jets are going to be the top seed, so they're going to get the second wild card. So right now, the Blues would play Vegas, right? That's doable. There's no easy road. No easy road. Funny story, I heard Coach Bowen yesterday say Jets sends Cup final, and I laughed. That's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a stretch. Although you never know if Omar might have taken it personal. I wonder if Omar took it personal that they chose Swayman just because of his age. Right? I don't know if Ottawa has it. The only way Ottawa gets in is if they could. Well, they're not going to get Florida in the first round. They can't get Florida in the first round. Maybe they could beat Toronto. I don't think they could beat Tampa. I don't know if they would beat Florida. Maybe they could beat Toronto. I don't know. Ottawa, that's a tough sell, Ottawa. The Jets, maybe, obviously. But Ottawa winning all 3 rounds out of nowhere, that's going to be a tough sell. Tkachuk says Blues could be the dark horse to upset a top seed. No doubt. RSB says, I just let out a giant gasp when I watched the Hockey Guys power rankings. Panthers dropping from 7th to 14th. Can't really be mad. No, I used to get mad at his stuff, but everybody kind of told me that he's just doing the power rankings, how they're playing right now. And how they're playing right now, I don't even know if 14th is low enough. Hey, at least the defense is still good. Ellers just got hurt. Hey, Simon, I'm just getting ready to go, bud. I'm just getting ready to sign off, but I'll answer Simon's question. Fishing, it got cold again. It's going to be below freezing for a couple of nights here, so there's no fishing again until next week. The water had just started to warm up. This was going to be the week I could get out there, and it's rainy and cold all damn week. And I can get to we're going to get to the gym later on this week. Usually Mondays I don't go because I've got a lot of eBay pack and ship and everything like that. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate all the support. Thank you for hanging out. And Members Podcast is already up. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. And then obviously we're covering Panthers Tuesday, Thursday. On Wednesday, we will be covering Leafs and Lightning. So that should be fun. That should be fun. Plus, you guys get to see Kyle bitch and complain about 3 straight days. And we still got Mike's Hard Lemonade. So I would expect drunken Kyle on Wednesday night. I don't know about Tuesday night, but by Wednesday night, he's definitely going to be drunk. And I don't know what will be left of him by Thursday. So there's that. Oh, absolutely, Sherry. We have fans of all the teams here. Everybody's completely welcome. It's a Panthers channel, but it's really an NHL channel run by Panther fans. You get it? All right. Appreciate all the support. I will see you mañana.